Hello, this is Lisa
Oh, wait.
Steinberg. I'm with Starry Constellation Magazine. I'm joined by Bex Taylor-Klaus, and we're going to talk about the
Hello.
incredible short film Pace. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for your time. Great to have the chance to talk to
Thank you
you.
for your time. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
My pleasure. I'm a longtime fan. I've had the opportunity to talk to you before about various projects, but this one is very obviously personal and extra special. Pace is what we're talking about. How did you get involved with working on the film? Was it something that was kind of sent to you? Did you know Beck Williams? Some of this, some of that.
Well, Beck and I are actually very close. We're Beck and Bex, of course, and we started training. We started doing boxing training. I'm bad with time, so I could not tell you how long ago. um, and during that time, we were both sort of going through our own transitionary woes, uh, frustrations with life, frustrations with self, and Beck is a writer. So, write what you know, used it as fodder, and sort of amplified our own experiences and let them spiral off into fantastical lands and create a dramatic retelling of extreme circumstances of what our stories could have been.
There definitely feels this personal drive watching these two characters. There's this kind of like instant bond, instant camaraderie that they share, but on like several different levels, not just on, surface. Can you talk a little bit about that aspect of the film as well, the this great bond and camaraderie that we get to watch between the two characters of Joey and Remy?
Yeah, that was something that always existed for myself and for Beck with ourselves. Um, we met through a mutual friend, and I really wanted to get back into fitness after disappearing for a while, even before I started transitioning and changing my body. I had really stepped back from fitness because of my own woes. And I had a friend who'd been training with Beck for a while, and I was like, are they open to new clients? Would this be something that would be cool? And we immediately hit it off. Great friendship, could talk about anything, could connect about anything, everything. And it's exhausting being in this industry as someone who's changing. Uh, a lot of times the industry likes what they know to stay what they know. And it became really great for both of us to have someone else who understood that and could commiserate and connect and let out the stress together in a healthy physical way. Like, it taught me that boxing wasn't all violence, and that's what I tried to bring to Joey as much as possible. Was like, Joey is the soft side of boxing. It's the team aspect of how it can be a team matchup, a team sport, if you let it. It can be about connection and trading blows, not for pain or defeat or conquest, but for camaraderie and training and health and sustaining stamina, etc. I really wanted to, when Beck brought me this story that they wanted to write, I was like, I really love this. I really want to play foils with you, where your character gets to be about the aggression, the emotion, and all the hard parts of boxing. Beautifully hard, physically hard parts. And I want to be the soft side that people don't often get to see, because it is such an aggressive and physical and violent sport. It doesn't always have to be, though. And that's, I think it's important to bring the softness to everything. Everything that is hard has a soft side. It deserves to be explored just as much as the hard side does. And I feel like I got off topic from the question really quickly.
That's
Sorry.
No, but I love it because there are a lot of nuances to their relationship. I mean, Joey is shy, but really breaks out of their shell with Remy. Um, there's this great balance, and it's kind of like a metaphor. Like they each other let each their guard down, and in boxing, you're not really supposed to let your guard down like that, but
Yeah.
but
And
emotionally,
letting your
the
guard down, you
moment.
may still get hit. When letting your guard down, you may still get hit, but it's not always going to be a hit that takes you down. It's not always going to be a hit that's intended to wreck you. Sometimes it's just a hit intended to check you. Like, hey, you still awake? You okay? Bop. You're not. You're not keeping your hands up, sort of thing. We all need that in real life sometimes.
Right. You may be down, but that doesn't mean you're out. Like you're never really out. There's always something that can keep you going and sustain you, keep pick you back up. And that's also a really great part of the film to me, that there's this important lens on the trans community and the physical and the emotional struggles that we see portrayed. But it also focuses on the resilience as well. And I wanted to talk to you further a little bit about that aspect as part of the film's overall theme as well, the resilience.
Absolutely. One of the biggest parts for us was both resilience, and sometimes that doesn't appear as a solution. Sometimes being resilient isn't winning in the end and getting exactly what you wanted and finding a solution to a problem that you're in the middle of. Sometimes it's just continuing through as the problem persists, so do you, sort of thing. Like, it's okay not to have the answers by the end, because it's probably not the end. And it's okay to just keep going. Persistence is key in boxing, just like it is in life. You can't just take one hit and say, all right, I'm out. You have to readjust and look at this situation differently, look at the scenario, look at your opponent, see how they're moving, readjust how you're moving, get back to your center and really like find yourself again so that you can keep moving forward. Maybe take a different hit next time, make every mistake a new mistake. Don't repeat the same mistake twice if you can help it. It's okay to keep making mistakes because that's how you learn. You just have to keep going over and over and over again. And it's always easier with someone else who cares. It's not always possible to do it with someone else who cares. And I think that our characters are really lucky that they found each other. Um, and sometimes it's you're the person that you're finding who's making it a little easier. It's purely platonic. It's not a romantic emotional connection in that way. It's an emotional connection in a very platonic, very soft, very genuine way. And we see a lot of romance where the way that the partners interact, the way the romance happens, fixes the other person or changes their life and makes it all better. And that's not always how it happens. And I think a lot of us, maybe I'm projecting the millennial experience as a younger, I may be projecting, I may not be. People may relate to this. But it definitely, there was a lot growing up of like, oh, if I find the right person, I won't be broken anymore. Everything will fix itself. And that's not how it is. You always have to keep working. And if you're lucky enough to find someone who is willing to work with you, that may not always be a romantic or sexual love. Sometimes the person who is your deepest connection is going to be a friend. Again, I keep going off topic.
But you're doing so well. Like I love listening. Like I'm not going to stop you because I love listening to what you're saying. I love the complexities, and I love that it's so open-ended within the film because we do see these kind of juxtaposed relationships for Remy, the romantic relationship with the partner, and then we also see the friendship, of course, between Joey and Remy. But neither side is is a full answer. Like there's no, like it's everything, both sides is open ended is where we leave things. So when you're talking about these other aspects in your other answer, that really plays into so much of the core of the film, and of course the experience, your personal experiences, trans experiences, um, the expanding, telling queer stories, and not always having a neat bow to wrap it up in, or not always having one box to put something in and say, look, we're fixed, or like, look, this is complete. And
And we
that's what life
love to
is,
tell
because you're constantly
it
learning,
is.
you're constantly moving forward.
And we want to tell stories where everything's okay in the end and it's a beautiful, happy, trans ending. That's the goal. And it's not always realistic. And on the one hand, we want to tell stories that end happy and give like everything's great, everything's perfect. We also don't want to tell stories that are trauma porn. So it's trying to find a way to meet in the middle and show reality in a beautiful, complicated way, kind of like reality is in and of itself. Like a lot of trans people experience what was going on with Remy and Vanessa, where um, the partner starts changing and the other partner starts freaking out. May not be what they expected from their own self to have happen, and it's still happening. And it's a tale as old as time for a lot of trans people, is that sometimes the relationship you were in before you transition isn't gonna remain, and that's terrifying, especially when we love that person with our whole hearts. And I'm not saying that Remy and Vanessa break up. I'm not saying they don't. What I'm saying is we get to see hopefully the roughest part of their relationship playing out on screen, because it's important. It's also important to see that Remy does have support. And it's not just Remy alone against the world, against this terrifying situation with their beloved partner, because that's important. Community is important, especially for us queers, but for everybody. We are social creatures. We're community creatures. The idea of the lone wolf is actually completely false. A lone wolf is a lost wolf that's lost its pack and is looking for a new one. We are all community creatures. We're not, we are individuals, and we are not supposed to be completely and utterly independent in every walk of life. We're supposed to lean on each other. And when we can't lean on one, it's okay to find our other, as long as we're just, being very clear about, boundaries, what the relationships are. And I'll get into like a whole like
Dissertation of things, yeah.
honesty.
I also love about the aspect of the movie is that not only, do we not have to have all these answers, but there's also not like one final look at identity as well at the same time. And I wanted to talk a little bit also with you further about that aspect because um, with Remy and of course with Joey, the same there's certain same similar coin flips in that aspect. So if you wouldn't mind to talk about how identity also is a larger part of an overarching theme here.
Sure. I'm me, Bex, I'm they all the way. I'm Those are my pronouns, they, them, theirs. I love the way they feel on me. I love when people use them for me. It was so fun to play a he, him. It was fun to play a trans man and explore that. I've played women before and now I got to play a man. And I was like, this is what my non-binary privilege is. This is the beauty for me of being non-binary in the stage that I was in while we were filming and the stage that I'm in now. I get to experience different bodies, different identities, different lives. And that's why I love being an actor. And to get to do that with gender has been really cool. So I'm they, them, Joey's he, him. And that was the first time that I played a he, him character. And it was really fun to explore like Joey's take on masculinity, Joey's drive towards masculinity. What made Joey he him instead of they them? Remy's they all the way, just like Bex, just like Beck. That one was sort of easy for Beck to write, easy for me to identify with. And so as soon as Beck came to me and was like, I'm wondering if you're okay having Joey be a trans man with he him pronouns. I was all for it. I was excited. I was like, this is fabulous. This is what community is about. You don't have to find someone with the exact same experience to have similarities. The differences within, like, connected, the differences in connection with those similarities are what make the bond even stronger, because there's differences, because there's like, hey, that's so interesting that it's like that for you. Let me tell you how it's like for me. And there doesn't have to be conflict. There doesn't have to be any sort of change that's trying to be made from one person to the next. Joey's not trying to be like, hey, Remy, I think you should identify as a man. Like, no, it's Remy, you're they. Cool. You're my trainer. I want to know you for you. I want to learn from you. And this is my experience. I'm doing this sort of change. I want this for my body. I see that guy over there. God, that would be amazing. I want that physique. How do I get there? It's going to take a lot of work. That's terrifying. And seeing Remy and seeing this isn't the body type that I'm going for, but this is someone I can connect to who can help me get there, is a beautiful thing for me. Like, you don't need to find the physique that you want to train you to be that physique. Sure, that's kind of what I did with Beck. That's not exactly what Joey's doing. Joey gets to appreciate Remy for exactly who they are, exactly how Remy wants their body to look, exactly how Remy wants to present to the world. And Joey can do so differently for himself and feel perfectly comfortable in connection, in camaraderie with someone who's similar but different. I felt like I was babbling. You'll take it.
I love to hear your perspective on this.
I just
It's
really liked, like having two different identities in dancing together like that, doing a little boxing dance. It was like, no, there's so much together that we share, and the differences only make it more interesting when we share.
and the great
So
validity of it too. Like everybody's experience is just as valid at the same time as well. Like you said, like just because you experience something, someone else or back, experienced something different. Each story, each person, each identity is just as valid as the next. And again, it's okay to be evolving in that identity just as much.
yeah, it's the same in the identity aspect. There lives the same truth of you don't have to have the answer all the time. Sometimes it can just be the process. Sometimes it can just be the adventure. Gender can be an adventure. And there doesn't have to be a destination if you don't want there to be. And for me, it's a beautiful thing about being non-binary. Sometimes people ask me, well, what's your goal? When do you want to stop? You're on testosterone. When do you want to stop that? And my answer is, I don't know. I'll stop it when it feels like time to stop. And right now, I love the adventure I'm on. I love looking in the mirror. It feels like I have a friend in the mirror instead of an enemy. And that's new to me. And every day, the more work I do on myself internally, the happier I am with what's external. And so maybe someday HRT won't be right for me anymore. But for now, that's the adventure that I'm on. And I'm so grateful every day that I'm able to have that.
And that really kind of touches me too, that you can feel you get that to have that and a lot of people it's such a privilege to be able to do that too.
Yeah.
So want to say that as well, that it's I'm very proud and happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really grateful for how lucky I am, how privileged I am. I know I want everybody who's ever felt like I have about looking in the mirror and seeing an enemy. I want for them to someday look in the mirror and see a friend. And I'd love for them all to have the same privileges and rights and opportunities that I've had to get there. That's my dream.
I believe the movie was shot in Atlanta, and you could certainly correct me if that's not
It was
accurate.
actually shot in North Hollywood.
Ah, North Hollywood. Okay,
I'm
gotcha.
from Atlanta though,
Oh, okay.
so
That's where
yeah.
brain went. I'm actually from Atlanta as well. I don't live there currently, but I
Hey,
grew up in Atlanta. So,
same. So you
so
know the pain of the hot pea soup humidity.
very, very real. Yes. The struggles of horrible allergies from every aspect of the flowers to the trees to the smog to everything Atlanta has to offer.
There is no escape. There's just no escape. No, we had this brilliant team out of North Hollywood, actually out of all over LA. Um, I think our prop and set designer was in Culver City at the time. We had some people in some of the beaches, some people in the valley. LA is huge. So we really did kind of condense into North Hollywood and then Ford Fitness in Ford, sorry, Forge words, Forge Fitness in Boyle Heights, I believe. Fabulous. It was so great to be able to work there. They were so wonderful to work with us, to accommodate us, to help us out. They had a beautiful mural on the wall that we didn't get to feature, but I loved it. Um, and but for the most part, it was split between um, an apartment in North Hollywood and a Forge Fitness in Boyle Heights. So we really got to nail it down to two locations. Kept it tight.
It's really beautifully shot. The cinematography as well, because there's a lot of the darkness that we get to see interwoven within like the lighter parts of like the actual gym, but like the darkest parts that kind of mesh and interweave together between like the emotional aspect of this whole film, and then of course the overall the overall dark
Yeah.
within all of these other aspects that we get.
Yeah, our DP Leo, incredible, incredible cinematographer. And he brought in his whole team and fabulous crew, and they were just absolutely on it. The lighting was spectacular on the day. Obviously, our editors were also fabulous to like for all the color correcting and everything and maintaining sort of what Leo and Beck had put in place. It was really nice to sort of feel so supported by the crew all the way through. It was masterful to watch them work. It was truly watching a master at work to watch Leo like come in, scope things out, see things, go up to Beck and be like, "Here's what I'm thinking," and sort of watch the two titans converse and really figure it out every single scene, going back to the monitor. And Beck did a great job going back and forth from wearing the director hat to wearing the actor hat and like being able to turn over the director hat to someone else and really being able to trust Leo, especially in terms of I, if I were Beck, I can handle the performance hat in the director chair. I can trust you with the cinematic aspect wholeheartedly. Leo Behrens is just a king, an absolute cinematography king, god among men. It was really, I hope not once in a lifetime to be able to work with him. I hope to work with him many, many more times. It was really special to have such a talented queer crew.
Well, beyond Pace, which I hope does much more circuits of festivals coming up, is there anything that we can look forward to, more projects coming up for you as well?
Yeah, please check out my podcast. It's an actual play Dungeons and Dragons. It's called The Wandering Path. It's available anywhere you get your podcasts. We have several episodes out. I can't count. I'm gay. I don't do math. Um, we come out with a new episode every other Monday. We have several episodes, including two world building episodes. I believe we have two talkback question and answer episodes by the time I'm recording this interview, and several actual gameplay episodes to fill up in between. It's long form narrative fiction, improv. We've really put our whole hearts and soul into it. I'm really, really proud of it. Aside from pace, it might be the thing I'm most proud of.